have a keynote address by Dr. Alka Mittal, former CMD ONGC member, Capacity Commission of India, who will speak on inclusive leadership, how Indian leaders can drive a culture of belonging. So please help me invite, with a huge round of applause, Dr. Alka Mittal.
Very good evening to everyone. And I was feeling so nice just listening to the panelists in the last session, because all of them I respect so much, and I was just thinking that one should be sitting and listening to them instead of trying and talk about things which we have done in our respective domains. So with all regards to all the experts who are sitting here, I'll just be touching a bit on a few aspects which are very close to my heart. I won't take the allotted time of 15 minutes because I see that we already need to manage our time. And what I'll be touching upon, as has already been conveyed by Dr. Khan, is about how we can be inclusive and how we can ensure that we are able to, the leaders, those at the top, are able to ensure that the sense of belonging is inculcated in the culture of the organization. So how does that happen? And how is it linked to the topic of the day? Definitely we all will agree that if the workforce is not engaged enough, if the workforce is not feeling included, how will we be able to reimagine a nation which is growing at a good pace to be successful in the years to come? Because without the human expertise, we don't move far, whether it is in any sector, anywhere. So I have worked for a lifetime with ONGC, and now I am working with the government. So the difference from how we used to work at ONGC and how the government functions, there is a tremendous difference. But let me share with all of you today, in the government too, we are talking about all those areas which we were focused upon when we were in the public sector, means when I was in the public sector and when we all in the public sector have talked about. So what I would like to mention here is, it has very aptly been said and has been agreed by most, that the fourth industrial revolution will not only be about machines, about technology, about digitization, it will also be about human expertise, whether it is about skilling or it is about capacity building. It is one of the areas of focus which is always there. And when we talk about human expertise, having more expertise amongst our workforce, how can we leave good segments of the workforce out of the workforce? How can we not be inclusive? Not only in terms of having them on the employee list, even we have seen that due to the policies, due to the various statutory requirements, at times we employ personnel, but we don't try and mainstream them. So on that, I'll just say that at times we start counting heads, that ONGC is a company which has 30,000 employees, so it should have this percentage of persons with disability, various kind of disabilities. And as a forward-looking employee, we should have women in the workforce. We should adhere to the category-wise requirement as per the rosters. But do you think having these numbers on our rolls will make any difference? Are we being compliant? Are we being an organization which would like to be future ready? No, not at all. I am sure everyone will agree on that. So we don't count heads. We have to make each head count. And how does that happen? How do we able to achieve some degree of success at that? So on that, I am going to be touching a bit, not long. So I'll also actually talk about what we did at ONGC. I'm sure all organizations are doing great deal of work in this regard, but it fills one with a sense of pride that, okay, we also added a bit to what could be done for our organization. So when we are talking about D&I or DEI, I would say, we have to focus on how we are able to not only look at the gender, we are to look at the other categories, as I mentioned. So for that, what we have to do, we have to align diversity with our business strategy. We have to make sure that when we are strategizing, we are also looking at how we are able to inculcate or include diversity as part of our agenda. Because if it is not driven from the top, which is a requirement, I would say, if we want to enforce something like that or bring about the change which we are looking at, so then we have to have that accountability in the minds of those who are sitting at the top, that diversity is important. It's not that one segment which is doing good could just be encouraged to keep on performing better and all others feel left out because they have not been given their due support in or opportunities for growth. Then we have to set very realistic objectives. We can't just change everything overnight. सब कुछ बदल दूंगा का approach नहीं चलेगा. We will have to actually in a very concerted manner work about it. I would actually on this I would like to draw your attention to the situation at ONGC. My predecessor, the Director HR in 2013, he is the one who looked at how diversity could be brought in, more diverse, how ONGC could be a more inclusive organization. Diversity was surely there, but how do we make ourselves more inclusive? And for that, he engaged 3 experts, one on gender diversity, another on how persons with disability could be given a better deal, how we could engage the youth, because we were growing at a pace where almost around 40% of our workforce was comprising of young people. And by the time I took over, 60% of our workforce had youngsters and their aspirations are different. So my predecessor, he introduced a campaign, huge employee engagement campaign, where we gave opportunities to the youth to get trained, get groomed, and start aspiring to reach the Everest. And after they were prepared for it, we did in 2 consecutive years, we gave them opportunity to touch the Everest. And the team of those 12 and 13 personnel in the 2 years included girls too. They required to be groomed over a period of 9 months. All opportunity was given. There was a production engineer there was a finance person there was an HR professional there. And the person who was driving this whole initiative was one Captain Sangwan. He is still with ONGC in Northeast. He is a Kargil war hero who has his knee amputated, who had his knee amputated during the Kargil war. And he took the entire team along with all the guides and all the support that was provided to the base of the Everest, the base camp. And I remember seeing him in the Delhi office one day. He had a very heavy backpack on his back. I was not Director HR then, I was in CSR. So I asked him, I said, Captain Sangwan, how come you're carrying all this on your back? He said, ma'am, I'm practicing. I have to take the team to the base camp. I don't want to be anywhere behind them. You know, I would like to be like them, and that's why I'm practicing, making sure I am fit enough to carry the load which I am supposed to be carrying. So that is the spirit that got inculcated. And the day they touched Everest, the first group, I remember each ONGCian felt that we are there. And it was a wonderful feeling, not only for them, for their batchmates, for their friends. So this kind of opportunity, the expenditure definitely was huge, but the kind of impact which was there was much larger. And the next year, again, there was an opportunity where the youth could come forward. That time I was director, and we all felt so thrilled to see this. So this is one initiative which I would touch upon. There have been other initiatives also. I'll just mention a few because end of the day, when we are winding up this event, we should carry some thoughts about how we could make a difference at our workplace, things we could introduce. In fact, in the government, I am now talking about those things also, because on one side we are wanting to be Vishwaguru, we are talking about India being at the top. So if we are wanting to do that, we should have the best of practices, and as was mentioned, based on our Indic knowledge system, we should be able to introduce some elements which would make our people fill with pride for being an Indian, for being a part of our nation, great nation. So some of the initiatives that we have undertaken at ONGC, I just jotted them when I was on my way to this place. So we were continuing for more than 25 years with the national games for the youth, which were initially started by IMA and continued to be there for our youth. So that was a very exciting, and multidisciplinary team used to be there. That was a very exciting thing. But we realized that we have to include everyone. So then we introduced some fun team games for those who are members of the staff. They may not be able to participate in those online and the business games, but they really enjoyed being involved with the fun team games. Sports, definitely all organizations try to promote, but for us, what I take pride in is that we organize para games, and ONGC had 430 persons with a disability who were given an opportunity to participate in these para games. They came from across the country, and the day when we saw them at the field, that was something which remains etched in our minds, because we never realized that they have not been able to come out of their respective areas of work. They have not been able to come out of their particular location where they were posted, and when they all placed personnel were there on the field, the cheer, the smiles, the laughter which was there on the field came straight from their heart, and it touched our hearts. So that is once the para games were started, we realized we don't want to limit it to ONGC. Today, those para games for last 5 years are being the participants come from the entire oil sector, and you should see the kind of the environment which is there at the Tyagaraja Stadium where the games happen. And incidentally, the games are starting tomorrow, and I have started getting messages from some of the participants. Ma'am, we look forward to having you there. Though I have retired from ONGC, but I make it a point, I go and meet them, because that their enthusiasm and their spirit which is prevailing over there is actually contagious. So these are small things which we can do, and the impact is huge. And Mosaic, during the COVID, we realized we can't organize para games. We organized Mosaic, online games, because these persons with disability were not even able to step out of their homes. The instructions were given also by us that they should not come to office because they had different comorbidities. But when these games were organized, they were so thrilled. And on 3rd of December 2021, if I remember correctly, when we gave away the prizes, the smiles, the cheer which was there in that online event was huge. So this is one way that we were trying to make a difference, make everyone feel included. And again, during COVID, when we were all bound to our respective places, on the 15th of August, we organized patriotic songs competition, where a person sitting in Mehsana partnered with a person sitting in Northeast, and they came up with a song on a patriotic song. So while we were not able to step out to celebrate the Independence Day, it was a day of independence for us, because we all were actually together in the celebration. And just one, we have talked about how digital online could provide an opportunity for us to bring about the change we look forward to. So I would like to share with you all that the online learning and development, of course, is a huge opportunity. But for ONGC, we had introduced an innovation award which happens for most of the organizations. So we normally used to have it in physical offline format. But one year we decided that it was not a COVID year. We decided that we want all ONGCians to witness it. So we did it online. So entire board was sitting in one place, and we had all locations connected. So there were around 13,000 ONGCians connected, and when we were giving away those innovation awards, the environment in every conference hall where the people were there was actually very exciting. They all knew what a batchmate sitting in Northeast has done to bring about a change in the way we are performing our activities in a particular field. And the learning and the spread of cheer which was there was felt everywhere. So these are a few of the things. During COVID, we organized a make a mask competition. All these ideas were coming either from the youth or from one of us at the top. So we realized we wanted people to use mask. And we also realized that normally the tendency is that we are not comfortable using mask. So we said in the colonies, in our residential complexes and other places also, we would have a family make a mask competition where a family would make their own masks and then put those on, share the pictures, and then we would give them some recognition. So these small thoughts which came to the minds of our personnel and which we could implement actually led to bringing about a change from the fear and the apprehensions that were there during the COVID, and it also helped in inculcating the right habits, I would say, to secure ourselves from the pandemic. So these were some things. Again, you know, when we are talking about being inclusive, how much care are we able to provide to our people who are working in the fields? In case of ONGC, people would be present in remotest of onshore areas because our operations are such, or in the offshore. They would be there for days at length. So once I was visiting the offshore and I realized that how monotonous the life would be becoming for them. So they don't have connectivity also, easy access to connectivity due to safety and security reasons. So we just decided that we'll send a hamper to them before the new year, which contained caravan for them to play music in their small recreation room that they have, and a set of books which could be of interest to them, including some very nice storybooks and from some literature from our Hindi literatures also. And all that, when it reached those people, personnel, it brought lots of feeling of belonging in them. And the heads of those particular locations, they said that for the first time someone has made small gestures to make them feel that they are valued, and they are the ones who were actually at the helm of our production and exploration, because of whom we were doing good as an organization. So these small things, bringing a youth meet was organized just 4 years back, where only youngsters who had joined 3 years, within the last 3 years were there, where the entire board interacted with them, told them about how we had grown in the organization and what future we see for them, and also where ONGC would be in the years to come. So this kind of engagement is required if we are wanting to create the future where we will be at the top of things. So the top has to contribute towards that, but with support and with inclusion of everyone in the organization. Thank you so very much. There's a lot I can keep talking about, but I would like to stop here. Thank you for having me over, and thank you for bearing with me. I could have talked about so many things, but I thought I'll touch on small things which make huge difference to individuals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alka Mittal, for such inspiring words. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something about Dr. Mittal. He's a distinguished leader in India's corporate and energy sector, having served as the former chairman and managing director of ONGC. She was also the chairperson of ONGC group of companies, including ONGC Videsh, MRPL, OPAL, and OTPC. A trailblazer in her field, Dr. Mittal holds the historic distinction of being the first woman to lead ONGC and the first ever woman functional director in ONGC's history when she assumed the role of director in 2018. She retired from ONGC in August 2022, concluding an illustrious career spanning over 37 years. Dr. Mittal's academic credentials are equally impressive. She holds a postgraduate degree in economics, as MBA in human resource management, and a doctorate in commerce and business studies, specializing in corporate governance. Additionally, she has earned a non-executive director diploma from the Financial Times UK. Her contributions to corporate leadership has earned her global recognition. In 2023, she was featured among Fortune's global top 10 women CEOs. She is also the recipient of several prestigious accolades, including the Inspiring CEO of India Awards, HR World Through Leaders 2022, the Silver Stevia Award, and numerous other honors. Well, ladies and gentlemen, to felicitate this inspirational woman with the Lifetime Achievement Awards, I would like to invite Mr. P. Dwarkanath, former chairman, GST Consumer Healthcare. Dr. G.P. Rao, founder, Good People Relations. Dr. S.Y. Siddiqui, former executive advisor, Maruti Suzuki India. Dr. Saugata Mitra, managing director, NDDB Dairy Services. Huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Alka Mittal. Dr. Siddiqui, Dr. Sanjay,